So I have a brand new DCU video for you guys today, and this is getting exhausting, but there was some wild news that got released today, and I sure hope this is not true. First of all, it has been reported that Safran and Gunn have revealed their plans and turned them in to David Zaslav and the group. Whether they've discussed it or not is a whole nother story. There's also some reports out there that Blue Beetle did have a screening, and there are indications in that film that Batman and Superman and Supergirl are still part of the universe, and that it does take place after The Flash, which would make sense considering when it's getting released. So people are still wondering about Aquaman because Ben Affleck's Batman was supposed to be in that movie, but there are rumors that has been cut. Which is going to lead me into this crazy story that got released today, and I'm going to take you over to an article by Variety. So here's the Variety article, and it's telling us that Robert Pattinson's Batman on deck, and that Aquaman 2's $205 million budget, the tricky role ahead for DC. And they basically start out talking about him, getting sentimental. I'm talking about Gunn, getting sentimental about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 and how he'd been working on that for 10 years. And they talk about that kicking off his 10-year adventure here with DC Studios with Peter Safran. And they first address what I talked about in my video last night, that Wonder Woman 1984 and Wonder Woman 3 was not going to go forward, being led by Patty Jenkins because the vision probably just didn't fit, and she's probably no longer going to be working with Warner Brothers. And it talks about you can watch that video that I posted yesterday. It's my last video. Gunn posted his own lengthy statement on Twitter on December 8th addressing just how challenging those changes are. And we've covered those as well. But moving down the list here, this is where things get a little freaking crazy. All right, so what it says here is he goes on to talk about the 4 movies that are coming out next year and how that those were under different leadership. And it says, this is where I'm going to read from. It says, so now Gunn and Safran must thread a near impossible needle. They have to decide how or whether to integrate these projects into their own new DC universe, while also deciding when and how to tell the public about what's in store for the new DC universe. If they announce their plans too early, any of the legacy titles that are out or that are the last hurrah for that iteration of the franchise could be seen as old news before they even premiere. And that is a challenge. We'll talk about that here in a few minutes. But controlling the flow of news about DC has been a vexing challenge given the just the voracious appetite for any morsel of information or anything resembling a morsel of information, even if there's no truth to it, about what's next to DC. Even if there's no truth to it, it's the trades like Variety that have been, reporting this stuff. And now this is where things get freaking crazy. That's how speculation over Henry Cavill's future as Superman or whether Jason Momoa will continue playing Aquaman wind up feeding headlines for days, egged on by those seemingly immortal devotion of director Zack Snyder's extremely online fan base, who still hold out hope that his conception of the DC universe could live on. But at least one core element of the so-called Snyderverse is likely over. A well-placed source, and I hate it when they do this because this could be total made-up bullcrap, says Gunn and Safran are exploring the possibility of incorporating filmmaker Matt Reeves' iteration of Batman with actor Robert Pattinson into their wider universe. And then they go to talk, about the cost of, Aquaman 2 and that sort of a thing. So let's talk about this here. I think this is just completely crazy. I, for one, do not want Robert Pattinson anywhere near the DCU. And according to what I've seen online after this was reported this morning, there aren't many supporting that decision. I cannot believe that Safran and Gunn would be that stupid. I can't believe that Zaslav would be that stupid. They're going to need to address this stuff, and they're going to need to address it very soon. I'm going to continue to bring all this information as it gets released, and this is why I'm having to do video after video. But the one person we haven't heard from is Ben Affleck. Now, a lot of people are saying it's because he has that new contract with his company, but that does not bar him from acting at all in in any of the Warner Brothers or DC's videos, movies. He could still come and act in them. He can't just be a director or produce on them. He has to be an actor. His contract with his company keeps him from doing producing or directing with any other studio, but it doesn't address his acting. So he can still be Batman if they want to bring him back. Again, I'm of the mind that if they don't keep the Trinity intact, I do not have the energy to invest in a brand new franchise. And if they do decide to blow everything up and do a hard reboot and incorporate, Pattinson into this, it doesn't match the universe. And it's going to destroy the 4 films that are getting released next year. The one morsel of information that has come out over the last couple of days that I really do like is the fact that with that Blue Beetle release, they talk about Superman and Supergirl, which is good news. I mean, this still bodes well for Henry Cavill coming back as Superman, which I still think is the plan. But I don't want them keeping some of the cast and not all the cast. Like, to me, that would be even more disjointed than what they're doing now. I just can't believe that they would be this stupid to do this. I really do not see how somebody could be that dumb. And they've got Gunn. This is going to be real telling as to whether people are going to be okay with Gunn's direction or not. This, to me, seems to be just incredibly short-sighted and stupid. Nobody, the Pattinson universe, Matt Reeves' Batman universe, needs to stay its own thing. It needs to absolutely stay its own thing. It does not belong in the DCU in any way, shape, or form, and I don't want to see him as the Batman with Henry Cavill. To me, it doesn't match the universes at all. But that might be what they're trying to do. Now, there's one other thing I'm going to address here, which is interesting, and it has to do with an article. One of the comic books that came out that's like a tie-in or something to The Flash. I can't remember what exactly it was, but there was a comic by DC Comics that came out, published by DC, that said that Superman, Christopher Reeve's Superman, and Michael Keaton's Batman are on the same Earth. It's like Earth 789 or something like that, which people pointed out directly contradicts the Final Crisis event that happened on the CW, because they were clearly in separate universes in that. So people are like, does DC not even know what's going on with their own properties? You can see that everything is just completely in disarray right now. It's getting very hard to navigate the waters and understand what is going on and what's true and what's not. Now, this was reported by Variety, and I do not like it when they do not talk about sources, because this is what's wrong with the mainstream media in America to begin with. Anybody can claim to be a source. Anybody can take a quote from anybody and say that is a source when there could be no truth to it at all. We'll find out very shortly what is going to be happening. Again, stick to my channel. I will be here covering everything from here until all of the plans get released and beyond. Even if I'm not happy with what they're going to do, I will be covering everything going forward. We will see you on the next video.